On a cold January morning in 2007, a man walked into a metro station in Washington, D.C. and set down his violin case. He proceeded to pull out his violin and play 6 Bach pieces, lasting about 45 minutes. In these 45 minutes, 1,097 people passed this man in the metro station, and only 40 people turned their head to actually look at him. Out of these 40 people, only 10 people paid this man some respect. His total, $32.17. Not too bad for your average street musician, correct? Well, it turns out this man is not your average street musician, but this man was actually world-renowned violinist Joshua Bell. For those of you who don't know, Joshua Bell was playing on a violin worth $3.5 million, and he had actually sold out a Seattle venue the other day with the cheap seats in the front costing about $100 a piece. Now, Joshua Bell wasn't just playing for fun, but was rather playing for a social experiment by the Washington Post. This experiment showed the Washington Post and showed Joshua Bell himself that humans no longer perceive beauty in its natural surroundings, but rather they only perceive beauty when it is shown to us on a stage. Today's stage is the media, shown to us through magazines, the internet, and through TV. And this is where we begin to approach a very large problem. Today, we are going to analyze this problem using the Rotary 4-way test, starting with the question, is this the truth? Now, I invite all of you to think for a minute. How many of us live our lives in a routine? We go through our lives with our eyes half open instead of fully open, and we see, but we don't observe. I mean, do you know how many steps it takes to go from floor 1 to floor 2 in your school or office building? Do you know what flowers the neighbor plants on a yearly basis? If we can't observe our lives, what message are we sending? By being unobservant in our own lives, we are sending the message to our younger generation that we will not perceive their beauty, and that in order for them to be noticed, we will have to see them on the flat screen. This is a horrific message to be sending our younger generation. Personally, I know for a fact that if Paris Hilton or Lindsay Lohan had been standing in the metro station, they would have attracted a crowd. But since it was Joshua Bell, he attracted 10 people. We must look at this through Rotary 4-way test question number 2. Is this fair to all concerned? Not only is this unfair to people with true talent like Joshua Bell, it is also unfair for our younger generation. Since we are showing them that we will not perceive their beauty in their surroundings and that they have to be on the flat screen or in the magazine for us to notice them, we are hosting them a huge amount of problems, such as self-esteem and self-worth problems that may not disappear for their entire life. You may be wondering, is the media really the cause for this? Is our unobservant lifestyle the reason why they have problems? It turns out it is. And we can look at this through the eyes of the women in Fiji as an example. Now, the women in Fiji have naturally had curvy, more robust bodies, and this has been part of their heritage for many, many years. It's a sense of pride for them. However, in 1992, TV was introduced, and 9 years later, scientists were absolutely astounded. When they returned to Fiji, 74% of women said that they were on a diet, and 15% said that they were throwing up their food in order to make themselves look thinner. Before, being more robust and being muscular in Fiji was such a sense of pride, but after seeing these images on the TV, they realized that they didn't feel normal anymore, and that they felt like they had to emulate what was on the TV in order to feel beautiful. This is the message we are sending my peers and our younger generation. To me, this does not seem fair to all concerned. It seems like the exact opposite. Now, through this situation, we must ask ourselves Rotary 4-way test question number 3. Will this build goodwill and better friendships? Now, my question to you is, how can this possibly build goodwill and better friendships? If we don't live our lives in an observant nature, how can we learn about people and have new experiences and make new friends? How can our country have a generation ready to run it with goodwill when we can't even observe our own lives, let alone the country? My answer, we can't. We absolutely cannot have a generation ready to run this nation unless we push aside our current views and work towards being a more observant nation. Without doing this, our country will suffer, and we will suffer. Now, this is where I must ask for each and every one of you to help me. It is from here where we must start a wave of change, because I'm sitting in front of a room of people more concerned about America's problems than most Americans. And it is from us that a wave of change and a war against this unobservant lifestyle must begin. If you're a parent, teach your child and make sure that you make their lives observant and full, and that it isn't focused around the television or the images seen in the media, and instead pulling them closer to family values and good moral beliefs so that they can form good friendships and have goodwill. If you're a teenager, realize that the images you see in the media are not real. All of the images in magazines are photoshopped until they are not possible. Barbie's proportions, she's about that wide and 6'2". That is not possible, and they are not real. And it is in our responsibility to become role models instead of Tanya from 16 and pregnant. We have to make sure that we show our country that we can be good role models and that our generation can start change so that we can benefit everyone that is concerned. I am ready to start this war against the media and our unobservant lifestyle. Are you here with me? Thank you.